Okay, on to part 3 then of the No Mercy campaign. Bill's looking a little worse for wear. We'll have ourselves a little heal. Now this could be a pretty tough map overall. It's a tough one to get to the end of, especially if certain things happen, but straight out of the gate for survivors, you need to be very careful of this area out here. Your best bet is to try... There's a couple of ways. You either try and get everyone across here as quick as possible, or you just get 1 or 2 people across and then try to bait out the infected, because the infected have a lot of good spawn points up here. The specials can drop down up there. Boomers can come down. Spitters are the worst. This area is a spitter heaven. If a spitter lands out here and then everything else attacks, jockeys, chargers, hunters, whatever, anything that can just keep things pinned in place and keep them in the spit for a few seconds, this place can be absolute carnage. So coming out of here as survivors, do be very, very careful. You could try the old walk trick so that they can't see you walking out. Chargers might also try to hide here, and then they'll charge you this way and smash you into this wall, and then spitter comes down. That can be a nasty combo as well. So this area, be very careful and very aware of it as a survivor, and as infected, try to take advantage of it. One little cheeky way, which you can kind of do, which people don't do very often, but it can catch the infected out, is everyone, as quickly as possible, comes out of the safe room and goes left. Because nobody ever does that. Nobody ever goes left out of the safe room. Everyone tries to go right through this door, which is usually the best way to go because there is loads of stuff in here. And of course we can go around to it later, but usually best off just trying to sneak past as quick as possible. Take a pipe bomb actually, so I can show you what to do with that. And we'll come through here. So yeah, be careful of infected spawns in these rooms as well. Be careful of the last person in here, because a smoker could spawn down there and drag whoever the last person is through here, and then they'll get dragged back, and the survivors will have to come and save him, or jockeyed back. So do try to cover whoever is the last person coming through here. Shut the door. Coming back here is essential. This is where the good guns are, so you'll want to come back here, grab good gun. There's loads of pipe bombs and meds and stuff as well. Desert Eagle, always good to take as well. And if there's loads of pipe bombs, if you've got an abundance of pipe bombs, can be a good idea just to lob them here, just to throw one, just to clear out any zombies that might be over there. Might as well use them up rather than have them just sat there doing nothing. So yeah, coming through here, all the rooftops again to watch out for as survivors. Somebody keep your eye on the rooftops. Boomers can be especially dangerous up here. They got a lot of good spots to drop down from. So try to keep those boomers at bay by shooting them before they get down there. Chargers can also drop down. Any infected can drop down really. Can be a good spot for hunters. There's a lot of easy spots to line up hunter pounces, like this narrow alleyway. You can sit up there and then try to pounce roughly in this area, and you should be able to hit somebody if they're running through. Or the same with this doorway. So there's lots of good spots for infected to attack here. Good to try and move as quick as possible. Another charger spot here potentially. Bang into that room. And we're just trying to get to this room as quickly as possible. If you really want to be super quick about it and really potentially avoid a lot of danger, you can just come left out the safe room and just straight into there. Like that can actually sometimes be a good call. It really depends on the luck of the draw though, if you're going to get weapons further down the line, because if you have to go through the level with the crappier weapons, it's just that little bit tougher. This area as well, you want to get in here, make sure you shut the door. Be careful of spitters in here. Chargers sometimes like to come down this little kitchen corridor as it is quite narrow. So if you are a survivor and you do run in here, just jump up here straight away, just for safety, or up on here. And then if a charger does come, you'll be out of the way. Spitters as well can have a field day in here, but jumping up on these sinks can save you a little bit. So do be aware of charger spitter combo in this corridor if you're survivors. And if you are a charger in this area, try to go for it, because it is a pretty nice spot to try and get a charge. Unless somebody's quick and jumps up there, then you might look like a fool. Here as well, you could maybe charge people down here. Stand here, bring out the charge, smash them into this corner, spitter again. Nice combo there. Smokers, jockeys, whatever can come from behind to try and get the grabs. Not a lot around here, nothing ever really in this bathroom, probably not worth checking.
There's the hospital.
Out here we can climb over the truck, which can just give us a good view of this area. We do have, of course, the gas station. Usually best off to just shoot this straight away so that it blows up. Do not stand under it. If you haven't learned already, if you stand under that, you will be instantly killed. So do not stand under that when it blows up. If you want to be really cocky, which I've never really seen anyone do, you could all hide up in there and try to bait a tank into running under there, and it'll instantly kill the tank, but very unlikely that a tank will be so stupid, but who knows. You used to, back in the day, you used to be able to jump on top of these. This is another old Left 4 Dead thing that's changed. You could sit on top of these little doors and then you could set off the event and just sit up there, and the zombies wouldn't be able to get you, and the special infected wouldn't have much hope either. So that used to be a little cheeky kind of spot to just play out this event, so you don't have to deal with all the zombies. Can be worth checking in here. As you can see, we've got 2 pipe bombs, got an AK as well. Take an AK.
Bullets, I'll take it.
So yeah, worth just somebody running through here just to check if there's anything useful. You do need to be careful though. If you're alone, you might get grabbed, so be careful, but can be worth checking. Over here there can be stuff as well, unless you're really in need of stuff. Maybe you got fucked up at the start, you need some meds. Oh, hello, M60. See, there's plenty of stuff that could be in here. Deagle, lots of stuff, so can be worth checking this room, but sometimes it is a bit too much of a detour. But to be honest, if everyone's just got to wait for this elevator to go up, you might as well just have 2 people go and search that room real quick. Yeah, and that is pretty much it for this area. Just trying to move through it as quickly as possible. Can of course climb the trucks, which can be a good play if the event goes on and a tank comes and things. But for the most part, just need to get on the elevator, get moving. Everybody on the elevator. You can jump up on the side. Do be wary of chargers spawning over here. Chargers like to come down here and charge people off. If everyone stood on this bit and the charger comes through, he's very likely to knock somebody up in the air, and then they'll hit the floor and go down. That's not the person he's grabbed, obviously. The person he's grabbed will go over there somewhere. So yeah, pretty dangerous for chargers. Good to some people to be stood up on here, some to be stood down here, so we can't hit everyone at least. Hunters can be good up there as well. It's a good place to line up a hunter pounce because you've kind of got stationary targets. Get a big hunter pounce, go high, come down, boom. You'll get a good bit of pounce damage from that. And then moving through here, the event is of course going off. Zombies are going to be everywhere. This is where the pipe bombs are going to be useful. Just ding a pipe bomb off. That'll just buy you time, because up here is where you really don't want to be distracted. There might be boomers and things dropping down from above, jockeys. And this is probably the important point of attention number 1 to be aware of on this map. When you get here, this down here is a smoker spot. It's a good little smoker spot. If you pull somebody down as a smoker and they take the full fall damage from up there at that point down to this floor, which is a little bit lower, you can see it's sloped. So there's a little bit more damage to be had if you can make them fall a little bit kind of closer to where they start. So yeah, as a smoker you can spawn here. Sometimes you might not be able to spawn, and this is a pretty common thing actually. Sometimes you might be hidden like this and you won't be able to spawn, and you won't know why, and you'll be like, what the fuck, why can't I spawn? I'm clearly hidden. Well, it's your little legs that'll be showing. So what you need to do is just jump, and then you'll be able to spawn. And while you're in the air, you'll be able to spawn. Once you land again, you won't be able to spawn. So if you're ever hidden behind something and you can't spawn, and you're not sure why because you're clearly hidden, it's because your legs are showing. If I was here and there was somebody over there, they'd be able to see my legs, so I won't be able to spawn. But if I jump, I'll have that split second just to be able to spawn in and land there. So yeah, that's just a useful tip in general for Left 4 Dead actually. But yeah, this little spot here is the smoker spot of choice. You want to stand here, try to grab somebody that's here, and then pull them down so they hit this floor, and they'll take a lot of damage, maybe even get in-capped. You can do it on this side, but if they land on these boxes, they actually won't take much fall damage at all, because that will shorten the distance. So yeah, best off trying to go for this side. Jockeys as well can do the same thing. Let's get back up there. But it's all about just trying to pull survivors down off of this little canopy walkway thing, so that they have to go all the way around again. Of course, there's going to be zombies all over them at this time, so it's going to be difficult. As a survivor, when you're moving down here, you just kind of got to be aware of that smoker. You've got to be aware of boomers coming across the top. But yeah, if you get to this point, if you're a jockey, you can sit back there and try to grab them and then pull them down so they hit the floor down there. The same thing as the smoker pretty much. Or you could hide just inside here, try to spawn last second, grab them as they come in, jockey them down there. Chargers as well can be here, charge them out the window. Although with chargers, you're usually better off trying to come from this kind of angle so that they go that way. Otherwise, you'll charge them out and then you'll hit this truck and then they'll hit down there and you won't actually do any fall damage at all. So better off trying to charge them down this way so you actually get the fall damage. I think that's it for here. Boomers could hide in here as well. This could be another good kill spot though. If 3 people have dropped down and there's 1 person left up here alone, if a hunter, say, or a jockey or a smoker grabs them and pins them here, they won't be able to be saved by their friends down there, so they'll have to come all the way around again to be able to save you. So not necessarily an insta-kill spot because the survivors can get back up here, but it will be a bit of a slog for them. So, and you'll probably kill the person before they're able to get to them.
I'd rather have a
So
grenade,
yeah, this could be a
but
good
this'll
insta-kill
do.
spot to watch out for. Plenty of potential opportunities to be made there. And so yeah, be careful as survivors moving through here for that reason. When you're survivors, it can be good to just sit here and try to bait things a little bit. Wait for that smoker, shoot him as soon as he appears. Try to bait out a jockey, and then at least if you hear it spawn, you'll know it's there. Charges as well. And just try to be careful. You do have the actual... excuse me, my voice went there. We do have the option to actually come around this side and just drop down here onto this. And we can get in the room this way. So that can be a much safer way in ways, because there's no risk of being insta-kill grabbed up there. But of course we are at risk of being grabbed here, potentially. So if a jockey was maybe happened to be waiting here, and he saw you coming around that side, he might be able to grab you and drop you back down there. So yeah, good to be wary of that. In here we've got some meds, we've got ammo, we usually got useful stuff in here. So good to pay attention to those. Through these rooms, sometimes worth searching these. Maybe not these first ones, there's usually not a lot in those, but in these ones there can be stuff. You see there's pills there, there's Molotovs and meds. So yeah, can be worth searching those. But what you really need to do at this point, the big thing to be aware of with this area is this little door. Let's say one person on your survivor team gets to here, and then maybe somebody else has been smokered down and somebody else has gone down to help them. Well, now those two people have to go all the way around again. So what you want to do if you're this guy, it's a little risky, but you've got to run down here and try to open this door as quickly as possible so that those guys don't have to run all the way around again. They can just come through this door. So trying to open this door is a priority for survivors. And that also creates a good opportunity, though, for infected. So if you could wait here as maybe a hunter, wait for the survivors, or wait to see if kind of bad things happen for the survivors and one gets pulled down, and then you know that somebody is probably going to try and come down and open this door as quick as possible. So you can lie in wait here as a hunter. When they come down this corridor, bounce off the wall, grab them, easy kill. And all their friends are still stuck out there. This door won't be open. You can shoot through this door, actually. So if someone is grabbed there, you can save them if you're a survivor, because this door isn't bulletproof when it is down. So yeah, that can be a pretty big play as either survivors to open that door, or infected to grab somebody who's trying to open that door. Another little spot actually is this little point here. If you're a smoker, you can stand out here, grab somebody and pull them out this window. Again, you can make them run all the way around again, or you'll force them to open the door. So that's just another little cheeky spot that can help slow things down a little. But yeah, I think that's most of it for this area. There are these rooms as well. If somebody does come up here, if you're a survivor, you do have to be a little bit careful if you're up here alone, because you can get grabbed, and if all your buddies are downstairs and in the other areas, then you're kind of going to be very vulnerable, and you might get grabbed, and if you do, it's a pain in the ass, and it's very risky for your friends to have to come and save you. So usually best to just maybe have a glance in one of these rooms, maybe the first two, grab anything you need, and then just get out as quickly as possible. Unless you've got a buddy up there, or all 4 survivors are up there. But yeah, be careful with that area, because people do get grabbed up there if they're not careful. Usually not worth checking these areas down here. Only a pistol. Usually good to just try and get moving. With this event as well, sometimes you might get a tank. So yeah, if you do have this event going and then a tank spawns, it's probably game over, to be honest. It's usually really hard to actually deal with both. The tank will have the advantage of having zombies all over the survivors. Like I say, you can try and sit up on here, try to shoot the zombies as quick as you can, nail the tank. If you can get a Molotov on the tank and just stay away from him and just, you know, shoot zombies to allow yourself to keep moving, that can be the way to go. Just let the fire kill him over time. You do have lots of space to move. Don't think there's anything. I think maybe the forklift, you can smash around the forklift perhaps, so you need to be careful of getting hit by that from the tank. But for the most part, if the tank comes at the same time as the horde and the event, it's usually pretty tough to deal with. But it's not impossible. Not impossible, just quite tough. Once you get through here, good to try and stay together, all go down the same way, otherwise somebody might get grabbed by a smoker and pulled. Usually a pretty easy area to get through though. Out here can be a little more risky. We've got that narrow corridor again. Charge a bit of combos. We've got this little room, worthwhile checking for survivors. Can be stuff in here, useful bits and bobs. A good little spawn point that a lot of people don't seem to know about is up here. You can climb this fence as infected and jump and sit up there. It's a good one for smokers. If you wait for the last man, you can pull him back. Or a jockey can spawn up there, try and grab the last person, drag them back through this door. There's a few different things you can do up there, so that's a good little spot. Or boomers can even just sit up there, and as the survivors run through this door, just do a big sick on their face. Lovely. There is the little room up there as well. the little vent you can drop down from if you go up onto the rafters. But yeah, mostly charger spitter combos to watch out for here. And then we're going to come down the corridor. Again, just watch out for charges. Have somebody watch. Keep an eye out for things. Come down the stairs. Not a lot to worry about here. Try not to end up like this guy, losing your legs. Usually not too much here. Guns. So this area we want to try and get through quick as well. There's 2 ways down. Pretty much no one ever goes this way,
Already smell pretty
because
bad.
it's a lot harder to defend yourselves. Of course, when you're trying to drop down holes, everyone's trying to drop down at the same time, so they're all bashing each other out the way, which is when accidents happen and then somebody gets grabbed. So usually best off coming to this hole, as it's easier to defend. There's a few ways to go about dealing with these holes. Usually things will spawn in too early. You'll see people throw Molotovs like here, so that if there is a smoker here, he'll be set on fire, or jockeys or whatever, which will maybe give anyone that they might grab a chance to survive. But very often the best way to deal with these spots is to have one person drop down, and then the other 3 people, if you're communicating, this is the only way this will work, is everyone else just kind of dances around the hole to make it look like they're trying to get down the hole and they're just struggling. And what this will do will force the infected to come out and try and grab you, but then there'll be 3 of you, so you'll be fine. So if a smoker comes out, you can all just turn your attention, blast them, jockey, charger, whatever. So it's good to try and bait out those special infected that are going to try and grab you, because if everyone just tries to rush down the hole all at once, there's a good chance that somebody will struggle and they get bashed out the hole. Smoker will pop out here, grab them, drag them over here, and then they're dead. So this is a big point of attention to be aware of. As a survivor, you need to be careful of dropping down the hole. As special infected, you want to try and grab the last person, or maybe even 2 if you're lucky, before they drop down the hole. You can try and spawn like here. Depending on where the survivors are stood, you might be able to spawn here if they're on the other side of the hole. So there's a few cheeky spots for infected to spawn, but yeah, very dangerous spot. Got to be careful. Very often someone will die there. Spitters can be good up here actually when all the survivors drop down. If you get a boomer or a hunter or something that can spawn here just before they drop, they can keep them in place while the spit does the work. But very often that just doesn't really work very well. Down here we have the sewers. There may be a witch somewhere around here. You can just cap it if you want, or you could just easily run around it through these tunnels. You can get through there. Now that side. Could be a tank at this point as well, which is pretty easy to deal with, to be honest, as long as you just stay out in the open. Try to cover the infected spawn spots so that you don't get boomered or anything. And then usually it's pretty difficult for the tank to do anything at this point. Molotovs, you can use Molotovs on the tank, of course, but in this area they can use this water. If a tank runs through this water, it'll put the fire out. So if you are a tank and you get lit on fire in this area, jump into the water to save yourself, because otherwise you're just going to burn to death. There's loads of them around. There's one there, there's some down the other end. So yeah, be careful of this area for tanks. Other than that, not a lot to watch out for. Might be a witch somewhere in here, perhaps. A few bits to grab here. And one pretty useful spot, actually, coming down here. One spot that nobody ever knows of, or seemingly never knows of, that nobody ever seems to use, is up here. So as infected, you can get up to this little spot and drop down right here. You'll land right here, and you can do a bunch of stuff. If you're a charger, you could let 3 people run past you and go that way, and then drop down and charge the last one this way, and you'll get a nice grab, and they'll have to come all the way back to try and save this person. You can do the same thing with the jockey, just try and grab the last man. You could do a little boom there, although in that corridor it's pretty easy to defend the boom. And the way to get around there as infected is actually all the way back here. If you're special infected, you'll have a climb point here. You can go up there, and that'll lead you to that spot where I just showed you. And you can drop down. So yeah, that's a good little spot that I never really see anybody on infected use, but it is a really good one. You could drop down here if all the infected, if all the survivors are down there. Charger, drop down here, charge this way. You'll probably get hit on all of them unless they're aware. They might nip in here. Yeah, so do be aware of that as survivors moving down as well. Chargers, if anyone's smart enough, they'll use that spot. There is a spot here, but I don't think. Oh, you can get to it actually. Oh, I don't think I've ever used that one before, actually. I wonder how you get to that one. I'll have to investigate that.
Need to find a manhole.
Maybe it's down here?
Above us.
No, not this way. I feel like there must be a way to it. I'm gonna have to investigate that. I am curious now. The hole here. I'm not sure if you can get to all these holes. I've never been in that hole, so I don't know, but I've never actually spotted it before for some reason. But there you go. Learn something new every day. So yeah, coming down these, not a lot to worry about down here. It's usually pretty quiet. You may get a tank spawn somewhere around this point. May get a witch down here as well. But this is a big point of attention. This is a bit of a broken part of the map because you can get absolutely fucked here. I've seen teams of completely green health with medkits aplenty lose and get completely destroyed on this point because it's just so awkward. There's only one way up. One single zombie sitting on the ladder will stop you. Special infected can sit on the ladder to stop survivors climbing. So as survivors, what you need really is one person to go up a little bit and then have somebody watch and just try to shoot anything that stops the person. If a zombie comes and sits on the head, shoot it. If there's a boomer, you're just probably going to have to shoot it. Or maybe if the survivor's quick, they'll drop down the ladder quick and you can shoot it and they won't get boomed on. You have to be aware of getting grabbed. If a hunter, if somebody's sat on the ladder like here, if you're a hunter and you pounce them, you'll make them fall to the floor, which will do a lot of fall damage. Same with jockeys and anything really. Smokers as well can grab them. You'll make them fall and do fall damage. So that's pretty powerful. Another cheeky thing, which I probably shouldn't show you. Actually, I don't think it works anymore. You can put this bin over the hole. I think the bin just falls down the hole now. Or maybe it was one of the bigger bins, but I think it's these. You can bash this into the hole, and the survivors literally cannot advance through the level. So that's one that you shouldn't do. Although I don't think it works anymore, because it is pretty much an exploit that completely stops the survivors advancing. It's completely unfair. But you used to be able to put this, and it would just sit on top of the hole, and survivors would not be able to advance. They can't bash it out of the way. They can't shoot it out of the way. They would be completely stuck. Come on. There we go. So it just falls down the hole now, but it used to get stuck. Or maybe it was a different bin, but you used to be able to put something over that hole, which really fucked it up and was really unfair. But thankfully they patched it out, so that's fine now anyway. So yeah, just be very careful of this hole. There's not really any great strategies for pulling it off. You just need somebody to be down the bottom shooting anything that might grab the person going up. If you can get all 3 or 4 people going up all together, that's usually the best bet. Because if one person goes up alone, they might get grabbed over here by a smoker and they'll get messed up. And then the other infected will make it difficult for the rest of them to get up. So then that guy is all alone and he's going to die. So yeah, it's a tricky point. You just got to do the best. There, like I said, there's really not any shortcuts for it. You can stand down there. Oh, he's fucked it. He's fucked it, mate. See what happens? I even landed on the bin and I got downed. Now we've got to run all the way here again. Alright, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, we're back again. We're at the ladder again. Let's try not to fall down at this time, but I think we've said everything there is to be said. You got to try and get up it as quickly as possible. Honestly, all 3 people trying to jump up there, and maybe 1 just down the bottom defending, is usually the best way to go. I feel like I'm going to fall down again. There we go. But if 1 person does linger down here, you can hide here as an infected. Spawn, grab them as a smoker, jockey, hunter, and that can make one of them come back down. It can really just mess things up. So yeah, it's a really difficult spot. A little bit broken, I think. They probably need to, I don't know, fix it in some way. Give 2 points to get up instead of 1. I don't know. But it is what it is. It's probably never going to change, so whatever. But yeah, it's a great spot for infected to try and end a run. If you get an infected life when the survivors are down here somewhere, best off just saving your life and coming up here, trying to attack at the sewers. You'll very often see people say ladder in chat, which means they want to attack at this ladder because it is such a good point to attack at. So yeah, make sure you don't waste this as the infected, but do be very careful as survivors because you will get messed up. If the survivors do get to this area, they'll usually have a pretty easy time getting to the end. There's not too much in the way. You might find some meds in here. Just got to get through straight to the safe room. Usually not worth checking anything. Well, definitely not worth checking anything because you won't get to keep it. And infected, you can try and spawn in these rooms, try and make some desperate last clutch plays, but usually it's pretty tough to stop the survivors unless they're pretty much dead at this point. So there we go.
That was a good piece of work.